Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're watching me for the first time, welcome on board. I'm your favorite baker, the recipe queen. Please subscribe to my channel if you have not subscribed. And for the regular subscribers, thank you so much for all the views, thumbs up, and please don't fail to hit that notification button so that each time my post pops up, you'll be notified. So I'll be back after the break. So today I'll be talking about the 10 major baking tools that every baker must have. I will call them the baking essentials, the must have, as in they are essential. You as a baker must have them. So what are these tools? Before I venture into that, I'll first of all talk about the baking. Baking is what we call, baking is science, and it can be fun as well. For you to bake right, you must have these tools. And when it comes to baking, baking is divided into three parts. It's split into three parts. The first part is the measurement part, the second part is the mixing part, and the third part is the baking part. So we have the measurement part, we have the mixing part, and we have the baking part. So for you to be a good baker, for you to be a professional baker, you must bake right. And how do you bake right? First of all, you start by measuring accurately. And what do you measure? We measure our ingredients. So now, for you to bake right, for you to be a professional baker, the number one tool you're supposed to have or possess in your collection is what I call the set of measuring cups and the set of measuring spoons. When it comes to measuring cups, they are very, very essential. Because as bakers, there are times you want to bake recipes and the recipes calls for 1/4 cup of oil, 1/2 cup of milk, 1 cup of yogurt. How do you measure out these ingredients without your set of measuring cups? That is why it's essential. That is why it's compulsory that you must have these as a baker. So because with this you can measure out, no matter when it comes to liquid, you can measure out whatever. When it comes to the solids, you can measure out whatever. So you really need a set of measuring cups. And when it comes to spoons, some recipes calls for 1/2 teaspoon of salt, 1/2 tablespoon of vinegar, 1 tablespoon of flour, 1 tablespoon of baking powder. So with this, with a set of measuring spoons, you can always measure accurately. So there is no way as a baker you wouldn't have this. You really need a set of measuring spoons for you to be a good baker. Then number 2 under the measurement part is what I call the digital scale. You need a digital scale, and aside having a digital scale, you also need your spring scale. I call it analog scale. So with this tool, you can always measure out anything. You can always, when it comes to measuring out your dry ingredients, they have a very good role to play. So now, at times your recipe might call for 215 grams of flour. Your recipe might call for 370 grams of sugar. For you to measure out these ingredients, this quantity, that is where a digital scale sets in. You really need this to measure accurately. And when it comes to the spring scale, that is where maybe if you want to measure out big quantity of ingredients, like when it comes to flour, the big quantity, you can use that. And also when it comes to your eggs, measuring eggs with scale, you can use that. The analog scale, we measure in grams and kilograms, and we count in 50s. So it's always essential. You really need it as a baker. You really need these two scales, these two types of scales as a good baker. So if you don't have them today, please go and get them. You really need your digital scale and you need your analog scale. Then number 3 takes us to what we call the measuring jug. Number 3, the measuring jug. You really need your measuring jug, because at times your recipe might also call for 300 ml of milk, 200 ml of yogurt, then 400 ml of vegetable oil. This is what you need. You need a measuring jug. So for you to measure accurately, when it comes to your liquids, you need a measuring jug. So under this measurement part, I've talked about the measuring spoons, measuring cups, then your digital scale, your analog scale, and your measuring spoon. So these are the tools you must possess. As a good baker, as a professional baker, you must possess all these tools. They are very, very essential. So that takes us to the second part, which is the mixing part. So when it comes to the mixing part, the number 4 tool is what I call the sifter. You need this for sifting your ingredients. Some people call it the sieve, some people call it the strainer. You really need it, because at times when it comes to our flour especially, you're meant to sieve your flour, because by the time you sieve your flour, you're making it light, you're aerating it, so you cannot do without this. Most of the times when it comes to baking and when you're using flour, some flour, when you see them, they have some particles inside. So this is what helps you to extract the unwanted particles from the main thing. So now when you sieve out the main thing, then the unwanted particles will rest on the sieve. So now this is a must have. You need the sifter. You need it as a baker. It's an essential tool. Not only flour, you can even use this to sieve your cocoa powder, sieve your sugar, your icing sugar, your powdered sugar, your baking powder, your baking soda. You can use this. You really need it. It's very, very essential, because there is no way you can have a good textured cake without sieving your flour. So this is essential. You must have it. Then number 5 takes us to our hand whisk. As a baker, you need this, because it's not all the time you have to use your mixer to whisk something or to mix something. For some recipes, like the oil-based recipes, you need your hand whisk. They are very, very essential. It's very, very essential. You really need it. There are many types. When it comes to hand whisk, they have the light one, they have the heavy one. So anyone you can get, anyone you can buy, that's fine. But for me, you need a hand. It's very, very essential. When it comes to whisking eggs, your meringue, you need this. It's very, very essential. Then number 6, that takes us to our wooden spoon and our spatula. I cannot do without these 2 tools. They are very, very important. They work hand in hand. When it comes to this, when you're mixing, you use it to scrape the sides of your bowl. And when it comes to this, when you're mixing, you use it to fold in. Recipes are meant for you to fold in the flour, fold in the whatever. This is what you need. And aside folding in your ingredients, you also need it for people that don't have mixer. You need it for your manual mixing. So when you're mixing, this is your bowl, you mix this way. So this is very, very essential. This is very, because even aside the spatula, this is also essential, because at times when your batter is much, you can't really use this. So this is what you need. So I would say they work hand in hand. So for you to be a very good baker, for you to be a professional baker, you must have this and you must have this. They are very important. So your spatula, your wooden spoon, very, very important, essential. So go get yours today. Number 7 is bowls. You need bowls. As a baker, you need this as much as possible. It's either you have the stainless bowls, the glass bowls, the plastic bowls, anyone, but you need bowls. I would say as a baker, you cannot do without bowls. I know someone might be wondering, what does she mean? Yes, you cannot do anything without. You need bowls, because when it comes to sieving, when you're sieving in your flour, where are you sieving it into? You're sieving it into a bowl. When you're breaking your eggs, it's either you're doing it in a plate or in a, so you need a bowl. When you're a lot of things you cannot do without it. You need bowls. So as bakers, we need bowls. So if you don't have bowls, I don't believe that there is no way a baker cannot have a bowl. So, but if you don't have, please go get them. They are so cheap to get. Get as much as possible, because there is no how you can be in this baking business without having bowls. Even when you're teaching people, you need bowls to divide your ingredients, to keep certain things, certain ingredients in order. You need your bowls. So bowls are very, very essential. They are very, very compulsory. You must have bowls when it comes to baking. There's no two ways about that. Even look at the mixer. We all talk about. Mixer has its bowl, so there's no way you can do anything in baking without bowl. So you really need your bowls. So that takes us to number 8, which is called the mixer. This is my hand mixer, and as you can see, this is my stand mixer. That's the table mixer. You need this as a baker. You need them. There is no how you can bake right without having. Yes, a lot of people bake without mixer and their cake comes out well, but you cannot compare that cake to the cake you mix the batter with mixer. There is no two ways you cannot compare. So for you, especially when it comes to the margarine and butter based cake recipes, you need mixers. They are very essential. So if you're starting up this business or you're aspiring to be a baker, please put it in your list. You need a mixer. If you don't have enough money, you can start with this. Then later you can graduate to table mixer. Then in the long run, you can graduate to the normal ground industrial mixer. By the time you start mixing a lot of big quantity batter. But for now, this is essential. You need anybody that tells you, sister, brother, don't buy mixer, it's not necessary, the person is lying to you. You need this, because when you mix your cake batter with this, your cake texture comes out fluffy. There's no way you can use mixer and you don't like the texture of your cake. So for some recipes, yes, you can do them without mixer. So that when it comes to the oil-based recipes, yes, you can bake them without mix. You can mix them without mixer. But when it comes to the margarine-based, the butter, there is no way. You need a mixer for you to love the texture of that cake. For that cake to be fluffy, for that cake to be airy, for that cake to be light, you need to use your mixer. Gone are those days, everyone does it this way, manual mixing. Man, times are evolving. You need to be current. You need to be a new school baker. Please go get yourself a hand mixer. Go get yourself a stand mixer. Whatever you can afford, please. If it's hand mixer, fine. When you have a hand mixer, that means you also need your bowl to be mixing. You need this. It's very essential. Then when it comes to the stand mixer, you also need, maybe you'll be mixing and you'll be doing other things, and so fine. There is no way you can be a good baker without having a mixer. You can be a professional baker without having a mixer. Please, it's very essential. Go get yourself a mixer. No matter the type, hand mixer or stand mixer, they are very important. For me as a baker, I have all. I have the hand mixer, I have the stand mixer, the table mixer. I have, as you can see, 2 of them, yes, and then I have the normal industrial mixer that is inside my bakery. So there is no two ways about that. For you to be a professional baker, for you to bake right, you must have a mixer. Then that takes us to the baking part right now, which number 9 is what I call the oven. There is no way you can bake without heat, and for you to bake professionally, you need an oven. Yes, some people, maybe from where this part of the world, a lot of bakers bake with their microwave, their stove, their pots, their air fryer and all that. But professionally, you need to get an oven. No matter what, oven is very essential. It's very that is even is the main thing per se you need as a baker. Oven. Then when you now have your oven, you start talking about these other things. It is very essential. Oven, no matter anyone that you can afford. If you can afford the gas cooker oven, fine. The conventional oven, the electric oven, anyone, the industrial oven, anyone, the locally fabricated oven, anyone you can lay your hands on, as long as it is an oven, you need it. Oven is very important. There is no way you can bake right. There is no way you can be a professional baker without having an oven. It's very important. So I would advise you, please, when you're making that list, if you're an aspiring baker, you're making that list to start baking, to start venturing into this business, man, number 1, oven should be there. So I would advise every one of us as bakers, we need oven. Please stop baking with your pots, your stove and all. It's not professional. Let's tell ourselves the truth. It is not professional. You need an oven. Please save towards that. When you see people and they want to do something for you, maybe they ask you, please, what do you want? Forget about that human hair as a baker. Forget about that expensive bag or whatever. Please tell them I need an oven, because there is no way as a baker you will not have an oven, but you have a hair worth like 200k. that you put. No. Tell yourself the truth now. Oven is very, very essential. You need it. Oven is very, very important. There is no way you can bake right. There is no way you can be a professional baker without having an oven. It's very, very important. So I would advise you, please, when you're making that list, if you're an aspiring baker, you're making that list to start baking, to start venturing into this business, man, number one, oven. So baking business, you need an oven. It is very, very essential. Then the last part is the number 10 is the baking pans and the baking trays. You need a baking pan, you need a baking tray. Baking pans for cake people now, now when it comes to baking cakes, you need a pan. It's either this is a foreign pan, a molded pan, but if you don't have this, you can also get the local fabricated pans. You have them all over. Then this is a baking tray. A baking tray is that when you're baking your cookies, your snacks, your meat pie, your sausage roll, your fish roll, you need a baking tray. It's very, very essential. It's very, very important. So for bakers, we need a pan and we need a baking tray. So there's no way you can do without these things. So I believe I've talked to you people, especially the upcoming bakers, the aspiring bakers. Please, all these 10 major tools that I listed, go get them. Start saving towards them if you want to start up this baking business. Because if you want to go far, if you want to be a professional baker, there is no way you can be successful without having this. You need them around you. It is very, very, yes, we have the minor equipments or tools too, but these ones I listed, they are the essentials you need. You need for measuring, you need your measuring spoons, measuring cups, measuring jugs, digital scale, spring scale, you need your sieve, you need your hand whisk, you need your spatula, your wooden spoon, your bowls, you need your pans, and you need your baking trays, and you need your oven. So these are the major baking essentials every baker must have, every baker must possess. So I believe I've said it all. I've said it. Take it or leave it. I have said it all. So now, thanks for watching it. Thanks for your time. I appreciate everything. If you're a regular subscriber, thumbs up. Thank you. I appreciate all your views, all your likes, and also feel free all the time to like my videos, to share my videos to different platforms, because a lot of people need to watch all these things so that they can learn at their convenience. Oh, thank you for watching. See you some other time, and please, I assure you, with all these tools on ground, this is your number one gateway, your lead to baking right. So there's no way you can bake right without having these things. Thank you, and see you some other time. Bye.